over the last 2 years, the working group of our members put together this global compliance toolkit. And what we wanted to do is make it very simple, easy to digest, easy to understand. So we set it on 6 key areas of global compliance for distributors: recognizing government officials, identifying conflicts of interest, preventing bribery and corruption, keeping good books and records, interacting with healthcare professionals and government officials, and lastly, reporting your concern. We then engage in building out materials for each of those topics, but in a very considered way, in a step-by-step process. Step 1 being adopting a code of conduct. Step 2, training your employees. Step 3, establishing clear policies and procedures. 4, communicating those procedures. And then further, a little bit more nuanced training. And lastly, certification, that you are, that you care about compliance and that you're working hard to put together a good compliance program to signal to all of you who you can work with. Next slide, please. So the next couple of pages are examples of the material. All in all, there's about 117 pages worth of material, over 50 assets in this toolkit. So this is just a taste. Right here is a sample code of conduct. And this is a great example of how the work for the toolkit came together, because everyone's got codes of conduct. It's a major accomplishment that so many people have codes of conduct, but so many people do. Associations do, companies do. Everyone's got their own code of conduct. So really, which one are you supposed to sign on to? And how are you supposed to know that once you've signed on, you'll be good to do business? So we brought together that big team. We put together our codes and created a sample code of conduct. Next slide, please. And we put together training material, slides, and slides full of case studies, definitions, examples, you name it, lots of them, but very simple, once again, and easily to translate, and graphically simple, a little pleasing rather, to the eye. Next slide, please. And then the policies and procedures. We're not just saying write up policies and procedures and follow them. We're saying write up policies and procedures, and here's how you make sure everyone follows them, and you can keep a record of the fact that everyone's following them. For example, the sponsorship request form that you see there, which is actually a packet of material for sponsorship request. Due diligence quick check, a nice, quick, simple check. It's all in the title. Again, this is simple stuff, but it's great stuff that didn't exist before. Next slide, please. And then there's communication. On the left is a screenshot of a brochure, do's and don'ts, and places for you to fill in exactly where you can find that company, or that distributor's policies and procedures, and then a form to report a concern. And as you look through all these materials, you'll probably notice that there's a lot of blank spaces. Insert company and event, know where to find your resources, contact us, and all these things, or all these contact options. Earlier, there's places that say insert logo and all of that. And that's not because this is not a finished product. It is a finished product. But the purpose of it is for distributors and small companies, small manufacturers alike, but this was geared towards distributors, for distributors to take this toolkit, make it their own, put their own company's name on it, put their own logo on it. It's not a matter of credit. It's not a matter of branding. It's about pushing out ethical best practices and the right resources to achieve them. Next slide, please. For the training once again, and we didn't just create training in slide form. We took those slides and we made them into infographics. So you can hand them out in addition to having things on the screen for people to watch, give things for people to take home with them that are easy to understand. And all of this was translated as well. Next slide. Then lastly, certification. Right now, we have self-certification. Right now, we have a toolkit, and we want people to embrace the toolkit and have an official way to say we've embraced the toolkit. So for right now, there's self-certification. But again, if you look, there's a lot of blank spaces because we're not prescribing exactly what people need in their first compliance program. We're just trying to prescribe that you need a compliance program and to work on it and evolve it and strengthen it over time and declare that you have it, to signal to all of you, once again, who you can work with and who you can trust. Next slide, please. Now, the toolkit's just the start. And again, I don't want to make it seem like this is an unfinished product. It is. But the toolkit is just a start. We wanted to start with the assets to build the right foundation. And right now we're in a period of collecting feedback, implementing them in foreign markets. And as we refine the toolkit, we can build further on it. We will create training courses, online training courses, so it's not just slides that you have to customize on your own. And eventually we want to have a database for distributors to register to, in order for all of you to very easily, once again, find the people that you can trust. So that is the long and the short of it. Of course, there's a lot more details that I can go into, but I think this is what's going to give you a good taste. And I'd rather just answer questions than continue rambling. Once again, thank you, though, for featuring me here today, and I look forward to further discussing.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ethan. And I hope that this has given you more than a flavor and a snapshot about what is really available in this, really great toolkit. As you may have been able to see, we have a very easy to use set of materials, and we can pick and choose, right? I think it is important that all of us within the companies, trade associations as well, we get ourselves familiar with the toolkit and really use it to help our distributors. And some of them, they may be bigger, so they may have an opportunity to have a compliance or a small compliance teams. But many of our distributors are also, quite small, so they don't always have the resources internally to come up with a compliance program. So the beauty of this toolkit is that it's really plug and play for many different topics. They can just take part of the toolkit, they can take the full toolkit. It's all ready to go, as Ethan mentioned. And I think the role of the companies and the trade associations there is really to take a little bit of time to help the distributors to understand what's in there, but also what it is in it for them, not only to get a compliance program, but also to benefit from all the great content that is in there to keep it up and running really very, very quickly. So again, hopefully you are really excited about the toolkit as well as we are, having gone through it not only today, but also having browsed some of the materials.